Some people think that science should be part of everyone's education, while others disagree. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Now, Simone, what type of question is this?
Oh, well, this is a question that requires you to explore reasons why science should be a part of everyone's education, also reasons why it shouldn't be, and then you need to say what you personally think about it.
So that's a great point. And for me, I cannot tell you the number of times students don't get the right word that's really important when you're thinking about the essay. And the word is should. The should part is so important because you need to develop a position on it. Should science be included or be made to be part of education, or should it not? Right. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Would you like to help me generate a question for ChatGPT, Simone? What type of question do you think we could ask here?
Well, we could ask simply, give me 3 reasons why science should be part of everyone's education.
Everyone's education. Great. Give me 3 reasons why science should be part of everyone's education. Should we say at school or?
Well, at school, yeah, it makes sense at school.
Let's try it, yeah, at school. Just so that we'll state at school.
Because it implies that, but it doesn't say it specifically, but we know it's about school.
Exactly. Now, again, it's coming up with lots of long text, and in today's class, for the sake of a shorter class, let's see if we can say, write that more simply and concisely. Great. There are 3 wonderful reasons. Let's see what
it's brilliant at summarizing, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I'll go with the first one this time. So let's talk. Let's focus on critical thinking. Science teaches us to think logically. It teaches us to analyze evidence, and it teaches us to solve problems effectively. And when you are writing your essay, one of the things that you have to be able to do is to be able to develop your response. If you choose this particular reason why it should be included, you have to develop it and explain why. So you could talk about problems that you face at work, at school. You could talk about why it's important to analyze evidence or analyze situations. You would need to develop your response and think about how to support this idea. It's no good just giving a short sentence like this. It must be developed. Yeah?
Yes, that's so very true. So very true.
Great. The second one, Simone.
Understanding nature. It helps us comprehend the world around us, from laws of physics to biological processes, fostering appreciation for our environment. Oh, that's a beautiful reason, because it really helps us feel more comfortable living in this world if we understand how it works.
Exactly. And when you are, like yesterday there was a total eclipse in the United States and in Mexico, and if we didn't have an understanding of science and nature, we wouldn't understand why that happened, and we'd still be living in an era where we thought there was some god that was covering the sun.
Yeah, and that it was a sign of something maybe even bad that's going to happen.
Exactly. You can go with the final one, Simone, if you want.
Yep. So preparing for technology. In today's high-tech driven world, science education equips us to adapt to technological changes and thrive in various fields, ensuring we're ready for the future. And that's a very, very important reason. And you would need to explain how science education equips us, in what way it helps us adapt to technological changes, and what changes those might be.
Sure. And you could maybe talk about how if we didn't understand the laws of electricity in physics, we wouldn't be able to develop semiconductors or data chips, and that is the driving force behind technological change nowadays. So you just have to be able to support your idea.
Yeah, and what an excellent example of that is.
The other side of the debate is going to be something a little bit more tricky, isn't it? Because let's see what ChatGPT comes back with. So we can copy the same question. Give me 3 reasons why science should not be part of.
Very clever.
Should not be part of everyone's education at school, because we must discuss both sides. Now, let's see what it comes back with. All right, and we'll ask it again to come back with, write this more concisely and simply. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see what it's come back with. Do you want to go with the first one, Simone?
Oh yeah, diverse interest. Not everyone is interested in science or pursuing related careers. That's so true, because if you think about people who love art or music or languages, they might be very far from science. Their brain just works in a different way, and they appreciate different things, and they want to be something else in the future, not something that needs science. So they would not be wanting to dedicate a lot of time to science in their school, in their school years.
Yeah. By the way, Simone, are you in a rush tonight, or can you stay a little bit longer because of the technological problems?
I'd love to stay. No, that's fine. Let's stay.
Fantastic. Let's stay a little bit longer so the students can have a little bit of extra time to say thank you for the technological problems. The second one here is resource limitations. Now, it's possible that some schools do not have the resources that they need to teach science to all students at all times. That's a possibility that you could potentially include in your argument.
Yep. How would you expand on that?
Well, if you wanted to conduct experiments, or if you wanted to do things practically, you would need a lab, or you would need tools and machinery and equipment to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Now, there would be an argument to say that you could do it all from textbooks, because that's what happened in the past. But the greatest minds, the greatest chemists, the greatest physicists all had to use equipment.
Yep, that's absolutely right.
And the third one, Simone?
Cultural and philosophical differences. Mandating science education may clash with certain cultural or philosophical beliefs, leading to resistance or conflicts. I guess that's a valid point.
Yeah. Would somebody argue that in their test? Possibly. I think in these cases, when you have a discuss both views, there's not really the requirement to have multiple reasons in your body paragraphs, because you need to talk about one side, to talk about the other side. It's very often the case that one very strong point, which is well developed and well expanded, is usually enough. Okay, it doesn't say give many reasons why. So in order to fulfill the task requirement, you must discuss one side, and it doesn't say that you have to discuss many points on one side. You must discuss the other side, and you must provide your opinion somewhere in the writing. And this is something that a lot of people ask me: how do I structure my essay? There is no one way to structure an essay. Is that right, Simone?
Yes. There's a way that each teacher likes to suggest, because it works for their students. But if you take different teachers, you'll see different ways, and it confuses students because they are looking for just one way to use. But there's many ways.
Exactly. So for many people, they will start with their introduction. They would discuss side 1. They would discuss side 2. They might have an opinion paragraph, and they might have a conclusion. But it's very possible that you would not have an opinion paragraph, and if I can spell discuss right, that would help. They would remove their opinion paragraph, and they would have their opinion within some of the discussion points, because one of the things that does or is required, you must have a clear position through the response. So you can't chop and change your position, and that's a really important point. So there's no one best way to write an essay. Some people might have their opinion and their introduction their opinion in the introduction and in the conclusion. It's up to you, as long as your opinion is clear.
Yep, second that.
Great. The third question that we have here. By the way, Simone, I think I know the answer. What do you think about teaching science? Do you think it should or should not be part of education?
Well, in my personal opinion, I think it should, because it helps and it develops critical thinking and ability to reason, ability to build a logical argument. And I think it's very basic, and everyone needs that. Even art inclined people, even musicians, everybody needs that for just day to day. So yeah, in my opinion, they should teach science to everyone, even at some basic level.
Agreed. That's my point too.
Yeah.
The third essay that you have given to me was, many people believe that it's easier to lead a healthy lifestyle in the countryside. Others believe that there are health benefits to living in cities. What's for you the most important word in that question, in your view, Simone?
Well, what do you think, Chris?
I normally ask students this question, and they very often struggle to get the answer. So for me, it's easier, all right? Because the ability for you to develop a position would not be possible unless you thought about this concept of it's easier to lead a healthy lifestyle. So you have to be able to say, yes, it is easier, or no, it's not easier.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah.
So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with here. What are 3 reasons why people say it's easier to lead a healthier lifestyle? Is it living in the countryside? I can't see.
Yeah, in the countryside.
In the countryside. Let's ask ChatGPT that question. All right. These are a bit shorter than the last ones. So let's see if we can write it even more concisely. Write this more simply and concisely. Fantastic. The first one that's come up is cleaner air and green spaces. So it says that countryside areas offer fresher air and more opportunities for outdoor activities like walking or hiking. That's exactly really true. And when you are developing your position, you have to talk about, what was the question again? Let me just...
Why is it easier to lead a healthy lifestyle?
Lead a healthy lifestyle. So it doesn't have to be just about eating or your diet. It has to be a healthy lifestyle holistically. So whether you're breathing polluted air, that's a healthy lifestyle. So it does say more access to greener space and fresher air, which is a good point. What's the second one?
Less stress and noise. Life in the countryside tends to be quieter and less stressful, which can lead to better mental health. That's an amazing observation, and it's really true. This is the reason why people move to the countryside.
One of the things that I like about ChatGPT is it very often brings back things that I would never even think about.
Yes, it's very, very creative.
So it's a very helpful tool for students. And the last one is it's has access to fresh food and nature. So rural living often means closer access to fresh produce and nature, encouraging healthier eating habits and physical activity. So what you don't really want to be doing is repeating ideas about this physical activity, because that's what we had in the first part. But this idea of maybe being able to grow your own food, access to lots of fresh fruit, vegetables, talk about diet. Remember that in the test, the examiners don't like you to repeat ideas too much. So the first idea was access to fresh air, outdoor activities. That's one part. The third example that we have here is about access to fresh food. So you can put those 2 points together, but don't repeat the idea of access to more kind of physical activity. Put it in one point, but don't repeat it in another. Now, what was the second part to this question? How should we ask this in ChatGPT?
We should ask probably, give me 3 reasons why city living is better for health than country living.
Great. Or maybe let's use the word easy. Let's use easier to be healthier in the city. Give 3 reasons why it's easier to be healthy living in cities rather than the countryside. Let's see what that comes back with. And let's ask, write this more. I should probably ask them to write it simply and concisely at the beginning of the question. Write this more simply and concisely. Let's see what it does. All right, do you want to go with number 1, Simone?
Diverse health resources. Cities offer a variety of gyms, healthcare services, and healthy food options.
Yep.
Compared to countryside, I'm not sure what healthy food options. The food in the countryside is just as healthy, if not healthier. But
one thing that I would say though is that in the city there's a lot of types of food and health nutrition stores where you could access, different types of pulses and beans and a wider variety of different types of fruit and vegetables. So there might
That's very true. You have the diversity, whereas in the countryside you would have just one type of healthy food.
Great. The second one is active transportation. This is interesting. Public transport and walking friendly infrastructure make it easier to stay active while getting around in cities. That's probably very true, because in the countryside you may have to drive to places if you want to get around. Whereas if you lived in the city, you could have the choice to walk to work or walk along a river or in a park.
Yep, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. And the final one.
And the last one, community support. Urban areas have more social connections and groups promoting healthy behaviors, providing support and motivation. And that's really important, because in the countryside, people tend to be isolated, so they have less exposure to healthy lifestyle if they're not leading it already. If they tend to, drink alcohol, or maybe they're not very physically active. In an urban area, they would have very good examples of people jogging and people doing sports, and you see the healthy lifestyle everywhere. Whereas in the countryside, you don't get to see much of it because you are relatively isolated.
There's a concept that happened maybe 10 years ago now, which was in cities around the world, they had this Park Run initiative. Did you know about Park Run?
Oh yeah, we have it in my suburb.
Yeah, so you can just join and you can go to a local park in the city. A group of people will run 5K or a little bit more, and everybody is motivating and encouraging each other, which maybe wouldn't happen in the countryside.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. It's all abilities welcome, and people really come and they do it. Some do it for fun, some do it for fitness, but it's all good as long as they do it.
I did it a couple of times, and I tell you, it wasn't fun. I hate running.
You don't like running?
No.
Makes both of us.
All right. The fourth question that Simone has kindly sent over is as follows. Let's go. Oh, don't forget that on that particular question type, you do have to cover all points. So you have to make sure that you talk about one side and the other side.
And your opinion.
And your opinion, correct. Nowadays, many people spend their free time watching movies. Why do they do that? And is it a positive or negative development? All right. Type of question, Simone?
It's again a two-question type.
Yeah. And what should we ask ChatGPT to generate some ideas for us?
Why do people watch movies in their free time?
Great.
That's for question one.
Why do people... Okay, let's ask 3 reasons.
Oh, yeah, 3 reasons. Yeah.
3 short reasons why people watch movies in their free time. Oh, it's not too long. We can go with this one. This is okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty good.
So the first one is entertainment and escapism. That's a difficult word. So escapism is explained in a second. So it says movies offer a form of entertainment that allows people to escape from their everyday lives. Whether it's through laughter, suspense or drama, movies provide a temporary retreat from reality. Great point that people go to work, they are stressed, they have family, and they just want to escape. And that's called escapism. And that's one of the reasons why some people like to put on a movie and forget about all of their troubles.
Yeah, just take your mind off it.
Great. Number 2.
Cultural exploration. Many people watch movies to explore different cultures, traditions, and perspectives. Films provide a window into worlds and experiences that may be unfamiliar to viewers, broadening their understanding of the world around them. That's a really great point.
Really great point, and there's lots of movies from different cultures all around the world that people watch, and it allows people to see how filmmakers and producers and actors work in different parts of the world.
Yep, and it allows you to learn some traditions from a culture that you may never come across because you may never travel to that country, but through a movie you get an understanding of it, and it's really interesting. It broadens your horizons.
Exactly. Good. I'm going to write that down on the screen because I did that with a student recently and I had to explain this. It broadens your horizons. Now, from a lot of people, they don't know what the word broad means. What does broad mean, Simone?
Broad means wide. It widens your worldview. It gives you an additional point of view that you didn't have before.
It means wide, yeah, and we have something where we have verbs from adjectives. So when we use, it doesn't happen in all verbs, but if I broaden, if I widen, if I lengthen, if I shorten, what happens now, Simone?
Well,
so what I mean is,
yeah,
my question, sorry, was badly worded. What is the en doing?
Oh, it makes it a verb.
Correct. So it doesn't happen for every verb, but you can have something which is broad, but you make it broader by broadening it. Something which is wide, you make it wider by widening it. Something which is long, comes from the word length. It's long, but you lengthen it to make it longer. And if something is short, if you want to make it shorter, you shorten it. So when you broaden your horizons, it means you try to see things with a wider lens. So you open your mind to other things. So that's one of the reasons why people use watch movies. What's the third example here, Simone?
Emotional connection. Movies have the power to evoke a wide range of emotions, from joy and excitement to sadness and empathy. People watch movies to connect with characters and storylines on an emotional level, often finding solace and inspiration in the narratives portrayed on the screen. Oh, that's so deep.
It's very deep, and what I'm worried about here is that is a bit difficult. So let's see what ChatGPT says when I say write point 3 more simply, because I think that using words like finding solace or narratives, I don't think many students will be able to connect with that. Let's see what it does if I say write point 3 more simply. There we go. So feelings and connections. Movies make us feel things. We watch them to connect with characters and stories, feeling joy, sadness, excitement, or empathy along the way. I think that's much easier for students to follow, yeah?
And I would say it's clearer.
I think it's clearer too. What does empathy mean, Simone?
Empathy means when you can feel what the other person is feeling, when you sympathize with their situation and you can actually imagine yourself being in that situation and how you would feel.
Exactly. A lot of students or a lot of people watch movies in order to connect and make them feel like they can understand somebody else's point of view. Great. Well done to you if you are coming up with ideas. Remember, none of these ideas or points that we're talking about today are concrete. The great thing about the IELTS test is that you can put your own spin on things. You can introduce your own ideas, providing that they are relevant to the topic and that you're not going off topic. If you think of things that we haven't thought about, that's great, as long as you're able to support your ideas.
Yeah, it's very important. If you get a great idea, but you don't develop it fully, it's no good.
You won't get your full marks.
You won't get the optimal score.
There was a second part to this question. Is it a positive or negative development? All right. This question requires you to think more from your own personal point of view, and you would need to think spending their free time. That's the point. Is it good or bad that people are spending their free time? I'm going to give you one of my own thoughts on why it's negative, and maybe Simone could talk about why it's positive. So for me, it's negative because people could be investing their time doing something more, and I say, quote, productive. So maybe they could be volunteering, or they could be helping other people. They might be learning a language, or they could be studying more in order to develop their further career. Okay, so that's maybe I'd say that it could be argued that it could be negative that people are watching movies in their free time. From your point of view, Simone, let's see why you might think that it's positive that people watch movies in their free time.
Well, I think that obviously depending on the movie, but as long as you watch something that educates you in a way, you acquire new knowledge, and you develop as a person, you grow. And even though, now what I want to say is, even if just through feeling something from that movie and empathizing with someone's situation, it develops you emotionally as well as culturally. So movies, they have a lot of value in them, and watching them is a good activity for your free time, as long as you don't do too much of it.
Yeah, and you could also elaborate on the point about, relieving stress or escaping from the busy life that you have with work and family and all sorts of things that happen in the real world.
Yeah, but you would have to talk about the benefits of it,
Exactly.
because you already mentioned why they do it, and now you need to explain how that benefits you. How is that a positive thing?
Exactly. The final question that Simone has sent through is as follows. Let's put it on the screen. Due to the increase in populations, I miswrote that, populations in big cities, more and more people are living in small houses with very little or no outdoor space. Is this a positive or negative development? Ha ha ha. All right, now let's ask ChatGPT about. You don't have to discuss both points here. So you just have to think of one side. You could have a paragraph which introduces the opposing side. So let me give you an example. Let's imagine that I think it's a negative. All right. What you are allowed to do in the test is talk about why some people say that it is actually positive. And then you are able to do something called a rebuttal. All right. Let me write that on the screen, which is to let me make that a bit smaller. To rebut or to refute an argument, which means to argue the opposite. So in this case, you could say, some people may claim that it is positive, and you could say why they say it's positive, but I think they are wrong, or I think they have not appreciated the fact, or they've not considered the fact, or they haven't understood this fact. So you are able to do that in the test. It's a slightly more complex way of looking at a point, but it is possible nevertheless. Let's go to Simone. What do you think? Do you think that living in a small house with very little or no outdoor space is positive or negative?
Well, if I was to write this essay, if I were to write this, I would go with the negative development as my opinion. And I would come up with a few reasons why it might be positive, as in, well, it gives people sustainability, for example, because if everybody has their own large backyard, it's not very sustainable. Now, where everybody is sharing, say there's a communal garden and everybody gets to share it, then that would be more sustainable.
Yep.
That could go on the positive side, and on the negative side, it would be lack of privacy and lack of ventilation, even because when people live in small spaces and they don't have large windows or large, not many opportunities to air the place. Noise, congestion. There would be many reasons why this is a negative thing.
Exactly. I'm going to ask ChatGPT very quickly, what are 3 reasons why living in a small house with no outdoor space is a negative thing? Let's see what it comes up with. It said limited space for activities, the lack of natural light and fresh air, and limited opportunities for recreation and socialization. 3 useful reasons there. Simone came up with other ones, which is around privacy, maybe mental health, living. You need to have space to do all sorts of different activities, yoga or whatever. You could explain that in your test. I think we have covered 5 really great questions. Thank you for sending them through today, Simone.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Is there anything that you want to say before we log off? And maybe for the people that have joined late, please repeat what you told us before, because then we can make sure that we have the best resources available for their practice.
Well, I just wanted to really thank Chris for this opportunity to have to hold this wonderful lesson for you. Apologize for technical difficulties, and we'll make sure that next time everything goes absolutely perfect.
Exactly. But what I want to hear about again is the book that's sitting behind you and the blue book that you've got in your hand. Can you repeat and tell all the learners why they should buy this book?
Silly me. Sorry. All right. So what I wanted to remind everyone who's heard it before, and tell the new people who joined it, that I have 2 new books available on Amazon, and they're books of practice tests. And if you are preparing for IELTS, practice is a must. And you want to be practicing doing the same type of questions that you will see in the real exam. And this is exactly the type of questions that you will get in this book, which is from High Scorers Choice series. This is a set 7, and it comes in general training and an academic version. And I highly recommend it as source of your practice tests, because you can rely on the level of difficulty, and it will give you an authentic experience what it's like taking the test in the privacy of your own home before you get to the test. And then you go to the test and there are no surprises. You're ready, you feel in your top shape, you ace it, and you go home happy.
Exactly. I fully support anybody to go over to Amazon right now, go and search for that High Scorers Choice Set 7 or Set 5 or Set 6, any of the sets that you've already published. They're all original content, right? It's nothing that's copied.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing. Everything written from scratch, tested, pre-tested, and we've made sure that the level of difficulty is very similar to the real thing.
Great. I need to talk to you, Simone, and think about how we can get the students buying the High Scorers Choice material on the IELTS Daily app. We should work together to get some of your material on the IELTS Daily app where they can buy it on there too. So that's
excellent idea.
We should continue our conversation about that.
We will.
Let's say a big thank you to Simone for coming along today. It's always a pleasure. Simone, I won't be here in May. I'm going on holiday, so we were going to be taking a holiday from the live classes in May. But you should definitely head over to the IELTS-Blog YouTube page, because I think this is a perfect opportunity, Simone, for you to have a live class on the IELTS-Blog in May. The second Wednesday in May, or any Wednesday or any time in May, you should have a live class, and the IELTS Daily students can head over to you.
This is a great idea. I'll give it a lot of thought. I'll get back to you, Chris.
Yeah. For those people that came along today, thank you for your patience, understanding and support with the technical difficulties. And for anybody that's going to be coming next week, I don't know what we're going to be doing next week, but just come back anyway, because we're doing something useful. Thank you again to Simone. Take care to everybody who is preparing for the test. If you have your test coming up soon, good luck. We think that you can do it. Work hard, keep preparing. See you later.